So it's very exciting what you've done with this work, but I do know that the basis is Native American. And you have taken it into a very universal way. But I also know that you've done some work with the Mi'kmaq Indians in Canada, and I'd like to know your connection with all of that.
Yes. Well, every time we sit circle around a wheel, we sing songs in native languages to just remember to honor the people who kept these ways alive despite horrific persecution, prejudice, and centuries of people trying to annihilate them. And I always honor the Native American friends that I have, real friends in this lifetime, because without them I wouldn't have what has also helped to save my life and the life of friends, the lives of friends and acquaintances that have used these ways. And one of the wonderful things about working with the wheel is the opening it gives you into other cultures and other realms of endeavor and places in other parts of the world. And I became more committed to wanting to have friends that are living Native people, because I had read a lot of books, the famous ones most people know about, Frank Foolscrow's work and things of that nature. But I didn't want to remain with this idea that all the old wise Native people are died in past generations, and yeah, you can go to a museum, but you know, this is dead and gone and dusty and in the past. And so I began by going to visit. I would hear through the grapevine and word of mouth about, oh, there's a sweat lodge here, or there's a circle there, and I kept going and kept searching, and I met what we all call a few plastic Indians. This is a funny term that even my Native American friends use for other Native Americans, even if they're full-blood people, if they sell ceremony or are doing things for the wrong reasons, womanizing or not observing truthfully what the teachings of the wheels and the pipe and the Sundance are. They're considered plastic even by their own people. But eventually, after a lot of trial and error and a few detours and dead ends, I ended up in a place called Big Cove, El Sibuktuk, it's called in Mi'kmaq, in New Brunswick. And there I met William and Connie Nevin, who are running the Sundance ceremony there now more than 12, 14 years. And they accepted my pipe, which I had been gifted by Susan Lawton. And this is a way of a pipe growing into a people's pipe, is through the Sundance. And they were very generous to allow me and some of the other non-native people, including a wonderful fellow named Shaheen, who's Iranian. You'll find it's quite a inclusive ceremony, the Sundance. As William Nevin likes to say, the sun shines on everybody. All are welcome to dance as long as they respect our ways. And sometimes when he gets a little trouble from other Native people saying, why are you letting, non-Native people participate in our ceremonies after they took our land, they took our language, they took us to residential schools, we've got to keep something for ourselves. And William says, hey, if you're healthy, doesn't matter what color you are. And he also challenges some of the younger ones who complain with a phrase I've heard him use, which is, oh, that person's holding a place in the line for you. How come you're not up there? And I've seen this really become true over the decade that I've been dancing faithfully every year. And it's wonderful to find that there is another way for people. Some of the fellow dancers and the 80-some men and women that I dance with are ex-Marine Corps people who have survived PTSD and the trauma of war. Some of them have been heroin addicts, up to 30, 40 bags a day. Some of them were alcoholics for many years, but they all got clean, they got sober, and now not only are they dancing for themselves, but they're dancing for their community and carrying prayers and piercing and fasting and doing everything they can spiritually to lift up their families, their friends, their community. And I have great respect for people who had really nothing left, and yet these ceremonies were able to bring them back and not only just to survive but to thrive. And that's I can't imagine my own life without the Sundance anymore. July every year is the high point of our year. My husband Malcolm Davidson is from Newcastle, England, and he is up there as the firekeeper each year, and truly honored to be allowed to be an Englishman amongst Native people for a good reason, and to have been accepted after all the bad blood that has flowed between Europeans and Native people. And it's my hope that more people would attend a Sundance. The sacredness of the ceremony prohibits the use of any cameras or any photographs or any capturing of the ceremony other than by your own 5-6 senses when you're present. The people who are supposed to experience these ceremonies will be there in person, and it's not for entertainment. There's nothing of the powwow vibe about these ceremonies, nothing commercial. It's all by donation, and people make a pledge to dance for 4 years, and in those beginning 4 pledge years you do 3 fasts a year for 4 days at a time. No food, no water in May, no food, no water in October, fasting together to help create the bonds of the community of dancers. And then the dance in July, which is when you are used to fasting, that you can dance all day in the sun with no food and water. I think one of the things that the Sundance taught me is I'm not just a body, but I'm a spirit that has a body, and the humbleness of asking Creator to help us get through these dances in honor of the people that we're praying for allows us to complete the 4 days. It's very arduous, and those who have any kind of weakness, you'll be shown your weaknesses during these ceremonies, and you'll also be given the chance to overcome them and find that inner strength and make that connection to all that is and to creation. And just the whole idea of renewal every year. If you have had a tough year, if you've lost a parent or, God forbid, a child, diseases, accidents, suicides, all of us cope with a lot in this life. And it's wonderful to know the dance is there, that you have a place to take it. You'll have lodges every day that you can just get your mind clean, get your heart clean, get your body clean. I don't know how some people live without it. It makes me sad to know that half the American citizenry are on antidepressants, and it's another reminder to me that we have got to do something about the way we live. And if we are waking up spiritually in this North American continent, then the spirits of the ancestors of the Native people can be in touch with us and do something about that and meet real, living, breathing Native people, and you might be surprised at what can happen in your life. Thank you for listening.